I'm going to start in just 1 second. I'm going to turn this off now. 1 second. Okay. We'll start. Whoops. Here we are. Okay. So this is an energetic transmission, an energy transmission, full of light codes, and somewhat different from the live streams that I usually do. I received a download of, there's so much going on. All of a sudden I can feel the energy running, so I've gotten very hot too. I want to talk today about circuitry and connecting the energetic circulation system and connecting all of the grids, because the earth is basically designed to have a circulation system like our body is designed to have a circulation system, and every single person is, and being, every being is a portion of it. There are some who are designed, it's not a hierarchy at all, but it is a level of service, and every being is expected to partake and serve in a comprehensive living system. And there are some who are called to shoulder a greater energetic current, because the level of service, so whatever that they came here to do, the level of current that they're here to deliver is, there are just certain people who are required to shoulder a larger percentage of the current. That doesn't mean that we can live without capillaries. It's a body. Some are designed to be arteries. Some are designed to be veins. Some are designed to be capillaries. We need everything, and it really depends on, it depends on a lot of things. But one of the issues that we've been having, which is why I'm doing this live stream today, I've heard Bilal and I have spoken. There are certain groups who are designed to work together and assist the group that is directly beneath them in terms of the circuitry. The people who are there are those who are designed at least, and it can also fluctuate. It's not like you do one thing or another. It's usually more of a circuit. There was a time in my own service where I was only doing extremely large groups, and that was it. And then I was asked to, that's part of it. I was asked to begin to as a mechanism by which to reach the ones who are individual, I had to go down and do individual sessions, and that's what I've been doing for the last year. And every person who comes to me is in a divinely orchestrated sequence that I don't orchestrate at all. I know that the next person is going to come to me, and they're going to relate to the person directly who came directly that preceded them, and then whatever issue we address, it's like tuning an orchestra. You get that person in tune, you address that problem, and it corrects for the entire group. So that's what we're doing today. Only this time I'm doing it kind of in mid-range. So I want to talk about aligning all of the systems and why it's not working, or has not been working. And my nose is running too. Whoops. That's probably a good sign. 1 second. Where's my tissue? There we go. That's a good sign. When my nose starts to run in a live stream, that means that the energy is really picking up. And then I'm going to give you practical things, and we're going to do it together. And then you can come back to this live stream, or once you know it, you can just do it yourself. So right now you're receiving an energy transmission, and one of the things it's going to do is clear long-standing blockages. So a lot of this has been happening on the planet anyway. We're getting these solar downloads. We're getting the the solar transmissions. But we're also meant to be partaking of the healing frequencies that are carried within each person. And everyone came to do something slightly different and offer it. And the question, there's often a question about how to offer it, since we're still in kind of halfway in and halfway out of a system where a lot of us are still, or a certain population, a number of the group of the population are still attached to the financial system, which is a single transactional, much slower moving transactional system with different rules. The rules of the financial system as it functions in the third dimensional paradigm. I don't mean in the physical world. When I'm talking about the third dimension, I'm talking about the paradigm, the way that we've been conditioned to operate. That's the system. So yes, we're going to still have bodies. And I don't mean, we're still going to have, third dimensional, palpable, tangible bodies, but we're transitioning out of the third dimensional paradigm, for those of you who don't know. And the new system, the incoming system, has far, far greater abundance for many reasons, and I'm going to talk about that. But the one of the things that we've been having a difficult time doing is aligning. There's such a rejection. The people in the and vice versa. I was going to say the people in the lower system would really have a strong rejection of the higher operating system, and the people in the higher operating system also have a strong rejection of the outgoing operating system. So there's a mechanism by which we're kind of rolling it over. It's not an all at once, although there are certain dramatic shifts where something will, you can definitely shift timelines, and a lot of that happens at night when we're asleep, because we get out of resistance. And as soon as we kind of dilate, our energetic field expands, it blends with, we do a lot of soul work with other people in our soul tribes. Other people, there are alignments and collaborative meetings, groupings that happen a lot at night, particularly because it bypasses the conscious mind. If you're having difficulty now, lately, if you're having difficulty sleeping, if you're having difficulty getting rest, or you're waking up in a lot of pain, if you're holding a lot of resistance in your body and you're struggling, if you're in the bandwidth where there's a lot of highs and lows, and usually that's because there's something that's trying to get free, but it keeps getting yanked back. Try sleeping separately from your spouse, if you're sleeping with a spouse or with another person, chances are there's a strong bandwidth differential where one of you is in greater density and the other one is trying to needs to expand at night for their own potential to be reached. So you need to sleep separately so that your own energetic field can reach its authenticity. And then you can each find out where you actually belong. You can kind of each come into your own sovereignty. That's really one of the, that's something that I see a lot when I work with individual people. One of the things I say to people is, to what degree are you still in the closet with your friends and family about what you actually think, about your beliefs? Are you able to just wear yourself and be authentically you, with no worry about what, your husband doesn't know you think this way, or you can't tell your parents, or you can't, whoever you're worried about, when you're worried about somebody's opinion, you need to reflect on why you think their opinion is more, or what you're usually is an aspect of fear. Sometimes it's a fear of loss of support. It's often that. So there are practical tools. So I really urge you to look at that if that's the problem that you're experiencing. Most of the people, it's interesting, the people that tend to follow me are either real, like this was an old hat and they've been doing this for a really long time, and they're advanced souls and they're strongly already on their mission and they just want to serve more. So that's a certain group, and there are certain exercises we're going to do today where we're going to share our breath. We're going to look, you need to look directly in my eyes, and we're going to get an energetic transmission. I'm going to see if I can center this as much as possible. I need to go this way. And we're going to share a breath. The reason we share a breath is just to bring whatever you're carrying and whatever I'm carrying in alignment. Regarding the issue, yes, I know you want my attention right now. Hang on a second. I'm going to go put you down, and I'll pick you up later. I know, 1 second. Now that you've had your time on camera, here you go. Okay. Because I really want to be able to focus on this without being nibbled. Okay, so there are a number of exercises. The first thing we're going to do is share a breath. We're going to share several breaths. We're going to do it. Should we do 3 or 2? We'll do 3 for the count of 4. Okay, is that right? Yes, 3 for the count of 4. The aim of sharing breath, what we're trying to do specifically regarding the abundant systems, and also regarding, so Bilal, if you're watching this, or any of the people in the coordinating global grid work, getting the groups to align. There's a reason that, for example, if you are, Bilal is facing a certain problem right now. I hope you don't mind me talking about it. I don't think you do. When you get, or any of you, when you get overloaded, when you're doing energetic transmissions for a group and you get overloaded, I know Ramona Lappin will probably understand this too. For those of us who do transmissions where we're giving a lot to the masses, and they really want it, like you'll get 1,000 people who sign up for free work, but they don't contribute as much. So sometimes we attribute that, and often it's true, where they're lazy because they just want free stuff. Sometimes that's true. What happens is that we don't want to withhold. We have a great desire to serve. We have a huge desire to get this noble task accomplished. We want to do this. But then the question becomes, so the reason we get overwhelmed, or it kind of flashes back in our face a little bit like an explosion, is because we need to make sure that the energy that we send out actually has a channel that's appropriate. What I have said in my own practice that really did help a lot. So for all of those of you who are listening, who you want it, when when you send out an energetic transmission, you know how in the lower strata, particularly when you do healing, the rule is, so you know, obviously any suggestion that I make, you run it through your own system and you decide what's right for you. Don't listen to me just out of hand. I'm just offering you the suggestion because I've been doing this for a really, really, really long time. Very, very large groups. And when I was Joan of Arc, I was the kind of the defibrillator for a nation. We're in similar circumstances now. It's different, but that lifetime was training for this lifetime. So regarding gigantic energetic surges that are designed to go and affect populations, that's what I'm talking about. You want it to, because it really sucks when people don't get it, or when you want to give them something and they either don't get it or they take a little bit. You know how frustrating it is when you give something to someone that you know is really, it's 100%, and this is great, this thing, and they only take 10%. It's frustrating. You know how in the lower system we are taught to always ask for permission. Part of the thing though is that sometimes people don't hear you. Sometimes they aren't there. Sometimes you're already out of their bandwidth and they don't even know that you're doing anything, because if they're too far in density, the work that goes on above their heads, they can't even see it. It's just totally out of their range. So the way that one way, and you still need to ask for permission. So I'm not saying override somebody else's free will. I would never say that ever. But there's a way you can do it. So what I did is I made the adjustment, take full responsibility for making the adjustment. Okay, this is a way we're going to maintain propulsion so we don't hit a wall when somebody is carrying resistance and maybe they don't even know it. Like, for example, my father, one time when my father had cancer, I showed up and I was so gung-ho to use I was excited. I was actually kind of excited that he had cancer because he never had any respect for anything I did. And I was excited to like show him, like, great, now we're just going to fix this. And like, you kept thinking that miracles didn't happen. And so let's fix it. And it wasn't really about me wanting to prove something. I was excited to, like, because it didn't seem like an insurmountable problem to me at all. I was like, it's a lump on your neck. Let's just go fix it. And then you'll know, and then you can do it too. I was just excited. And I remember when I offered it to him, he was semi-disgusted, but he did give his permission, but it wasn't the right kind of permission. He said, fine, as long as I don't have to do anything. So that's never going to work. A lot of people will give permission, but they will do so from a position of either defensiveness. And so usually if you've been doing healing for a long time, you can suss that out. You know that's true. And you won't ever push past somebody's defenses. You won't do it. You will wait until they relax and they open up to it. That's true. But then there are other times when people will give permission, but they are themselves very lazy and they don't participate as much as they're supposed to. So what I did is I took full, because the only thing I can fully be responsible for is my own energy, my own choice, my own initiative, my own energy, my own intention. And I don't ever want to choose for someone else, but I do still have a strong opinion about what should happen. So I want to be able to hold my authenticity and my own powerful nature. I want to be able to hold the full, my full skill set that is formidable and designed for use. So it's really about that. I came here along with so many of you. We came here to do something. We didn't come here to not do it. We don't want to misapply it. We want to make sure that it's applied appropriately. So what I did, I said, my own energy will never blast past anybody else's free will. I don't have to add. So that allows me to flood an entire country or an entire group or an entire region without having to ask every person individually, do you say yes? Do you say yes? Do you say yes? There were times that we did that, like during the Joan of Arc lifetime, which I was actually told, I was on the fence about whether to continue to even bring it up. And the guidance that I received, and I've thought about that for a long time. The guidance that I have received was that for a time, so we're not going to be talking about it forever, meaning me. I'm not going to be talking about it forever. But there's still a population, in linearity, and they like examples. They like to look back and have things as proof. They like to, they're kind of evidential based. They're still working through linearity, and they will benefit from an example. They will benefit from being able to look. They like to look, it's like they just look in that direction to get a sense of where they're supposed to go. You can't really drive that way, but they like to, there's just a way that they operate, and they need to be able to reach the lowest rung of the ladder too. It does serve. I was told that that the Joan of Arc lifetime, that whole scenario, if I looked at it, because it's a relatively short 2-year period where all of the things happened that would tell me what direction I was supposed to go to. And then when the energy looked back around, I would recognize it, and I could look kind of a little bit like a diagram, like I would have a condensed version, and then I could kind of analyze the problem to see what direction to take the group that was extended 600 years into the future. So that's why I'm still looking back at it. It's not that I want to maintain the identity. It's not about that at all. It's just about, where did this come from? What did we do then? How did it turn out? And because we know what happened, how do we need to adjust it? And that's what this transmission is about. So we're trying to bring online all of the varied systems, but we also know that we can't expect everyone to shoulder the same degree of burden. Everyone must shoulder burden. There are certain things that must be equally shared. And I'm not entirely sure how to describe it, but everyone has to, it goes by percentages. So if you are capable of shouldering 100 pounds of energetic weight, then you are expected to lift that portion of the collective burden. If you're genuinely not capable of lifting that much, then nothing that you genuinely can't do is going to be given to you to do. But you are expected to shoulder some of the risk, experience some of the risk. We're coming back from a lot of historic, cultural problems, massive problems, and we are deconstructing collective consciousness in such a way, we're constructing it and deconstructing it at the same time. So what we're doing in this energetic transmission is we're going to breathe together, and I think I'm going to do it for the count of, I'm feeling around. I did this previously, but now I'm wondering if it's true. When we share a breath, I carry a certain amount of current that has a corresponding amount of currency attached to it, that has a corresponding amount of time. Time is money, and money is energy, and everything is just about making a energetic continuum. What we're trying to do is make a continuum so that we can get the entire thing to flow so that everyone is getting something. Part of the problem that we're having is that there are certain groups where nothing is getting to them. So either they've got a ton of energy, but they've got no money, or they don't have any food, but they have a lot of something else. We're correcting not only for human beings, we're also correcting for all of nature. We're working through years and seasons, through droughts, through deserts, through floods, and we're trying to bring online everything so that every aspect is appropriately corrected. So that's why, and the human beings are we're a moving grid, because we have an electrical body. We also have a physical body. We are part of the earth. We're not separate from the earth. We're not vermin that came to attack the earth. We're actually here to assist. And we can move faster than trees. So we're the ones who are traveling all over the globe, putting ourselves in a spot, and the corrections that we bring. So how do you do that? For the first thing we're going to do is, I'm going to give you 3 tools. Well, more than that, but we're going to walk through it together. The first tool is breath. So if you have no money, you know how when you for those of you who have watched energetic transmission before, and you sign up, and usually there's some kind of a sign up thing, say yes if you agree, say yes if you will accept, and you'll get 1,000 people who say yes, I want it, but then nothing comes back to the server. Sometimes that's appropriate, and we really have to play it by ear. So if we have a lot of excess energetic charge, like a massive static buildup, then it's an assist to us, to the giver, to have that kind of taken off and just put it back into the system. Sometimes somebody taking something away from you can actually be exactly what you need, whatever it is. But sometimes it turns into robbery. I have a lot of people who ask me for free sessions, and usually, which I do give free sessions all the time, but I kind of vibe it out, because sometimes I'm led to work with somebody, and sometimes somebody just wants a free session. And if they cared enough, they would pay for one. We really need the people that typically are coasting. There's a level that is, and it's not up to me I'm not judging them. It's just part of the, sometimes people don't know that they need to participate more. They need to step up their level of service. And there's a specific kind of resistance where very often people are like, well, I would, but I still have a 3D job and I don't know what to do. So if you are still working in a third dimensional typical job and you're still earning money, then it's still appropriate for you to pay for services or donate financially to somebody who's giving you energy work. If you genuinely don't have, there are some of us who, when we say we're living on 0 point, like it is literally hand to mouth and we're back at 0, like almost for every meal. There are those of us who are living like that too. When I say I usually don't say I have no money, but I often have, I think I've got $14 in my account right now. I don't consider that dirt poor, because a lot of, I'm connected to a living system. Part of my job is, for a margin of time, my job is to go into 0 point and deprogram the fear and create a way. God will make a way through the desert. So somebody has to do it first. And the way the abundance system works is that every act of benevolence that you put into the river comes back to you in the desert. I was shown that very clearly in 2014. But I kind of digress. So if you're one of the people and you genuinely have no money, or even if you are somebody who does have money, one thing that you can do that costs no money at all is utilize your breath. You can do this lying in bed. Just assign a meaning to your own breathing. And it can be not just for you, but for the world. You could say, I am equal. So for example, like equal pay for equal work. And this goes for animals too. As if you are breathing freely and easily, assign a meaning to every breath that you take, and be in gratitude for the in-breath and gratitude for the exhale. You could say, I'm breathing in for those who can't receive, for those who are having difficulty receiving. I'm breathing in for those in poverty. I'm breathing in for, there's an abundance of air. There's no chance you're going to run out of oxygen. I'm breathing in, thank you. I'm exhaling, and you can send it to someplace with your intention. I'm taking from my lungs and I'm sending it over there. If you do it with intention, with love and service, every time you exhale, that can be an act of benevolence that counts as service. So we're going to align our breath now. I'm going to count I'll hold up 4 fingers, and we're going to breathe. So I'm choosing 4 because we're creating a structure. We're creating stability. We want to align. So I want you to look in my eyes, and we're going to breathe in for the count of 4 and out for the count of 4. We're going to do this 3 times. It's going to create a 12. Doing it 3 times, a catalyst for change. We want to create a flow. So we're going to do it a flow towards stability. Yeah. And then we're going to drink water, because we're charging this water. You can put your hands on your water, and everything we do is going to charge your water. At the end of the session, you can drink the water. And you can do this also every single night before you go to bed. Put water by your nightstand, and you call in the codes that you need. You can say this to your angels. You can say this to all of the benevolence of the universe. Say, here's my water. I'm putting it by my bed while I'm asleep. Bring me the codes that I need and put it by this water, and help me sleep through the night. And then make all the associated adjustments. And in the morning, I'm going to drink the water. And then when you pee, you're going to put that correction into the overall system. So let's breathe. We're going to align our eyesight. I'm going to sit in the center. We're going to align our eyesight and connect with all of the other people who are listening to this now, and everyone who's going to listen to it from this point forward. There is no time. This isn't attached to a timeline at all. So we're just going to breathe in and out. And any time in the future when you listen to this, you're joining in with us right now. So we're feeling, those of you who are empaths can feel everyone who's ever going to listen to this and the people that they're connected to. But let's just do it for ourselves right now. So inhale. Again. Again. So now we're all aligned and all at peace. One of the rounds was for the globe. I should say one of the rounds was for us personally. One of the rounds was for our localized group, and the next round was for the world at large. We're equalizing scale, because a lot of this has to do just like arteries and veins and capillaries. We're equalizing scale. So now that we've got that all aligned, when we deliver energetic transmissions and the giver feels overloaded or the receiver feels overloaded, that's because there was a mismatch in the energetic circuitry where one side was bigger than the other. So all we have to do is just kind of stabilize it so that it's equally flowing and we don't get any buildup in either direction. And anytime it goes too far out of balance, it's going to seize. So that's what we are going to prevent that. So I'm going to take a sip of water. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Breathing in gratitude, exhaling gratitude as well. Thank you. So here's something you can do. If you're one of the people who wants to partake of the energetic transmissions, and so this is true. If you don't want to think about your breathing all the time and one thing you can do that is a genuine help, you're asked to up-level your own level of service. Again, one of the reasons that the grids are not totally aligning, like we start to bring them in and then there's like a bump or a seizure, it's because it's not entirely aligned. We're trying to seamlessly align it, which is the way it's supposed to go. Usually when that happens, it's because a lot of the people that are carrying lower bandwidth, I'm not blaming it on them at all, but, and it could really go in either directions, but usually it's that that level moves slower. There's often a strong degree of uncertainty, like what can I do? I don't know how to do sessions, or okay, how do I explain this? If somebody has just started to do some sort of a healing practice, for those of you who are just stepping, for the level that you're stepping up into, everyone is stepping up a level, no matter what your level is, no matter how much your mastery you have. During the time of ascension, it's an expansion for you. You're here to serve at a greater level and challenge yourself, because everyone has to go outside their comfort zones in some capacity. So for example, if you are a galactic and it's a challenge for you to get into a body, then in your case, compression it's kind of an expansion for you, because it's taking you into a realm that's uncomfortable. You're expected to partake of some of the awkward, jarring transition energy. We're merging realms, and it's a little awkward. Those that are coming in with great big energy, with great big bandwidths, often have difficulty and a lot of fear related to how do you land, how do you get this, I'm scared to be in a body, I'm scared to the lower system, that they tend to not recognize us, we're often called crazy, we don't want to be incarcerated again, etc. So there's a lot of fear that comes up for us too. The first thing that happens usually is your support systems get all screwy. The higher support system, the incoming support circulation system really does work incredibly, beautifully, seamlessly well. It's a lateral rotation. It doesn't work like it doesn't work like a carousel. In some ways it works. There are certain aspects where you have a water wheel kind of effect. But that's a different portion. That's a kind of a different portion of the machinery. The way the healing network and the abundance network is that there's a lateral component of peer-to-peer transfer and peer-to-peer gifting of frequencies that heal also. And this is one of the reasons that we drink water and we all share energy. It's part of the telepathic network where whatever you need, somebody else has it. And nature abhors a vacuum. So as long as there's no density in the way, you can kind of radiate your own energetic signature calls for what is needed. And then whoever has that simply offers it, and the offering is the propulsion. I really can't say that enough. The new energetic system, I was going to hold this to my heart, but I think I'm not going to do it right now. I'll put that over here for the time being. You are called to seek divine employment wherever you go. It doesn't necessarily have to be a job where you're getting paid money for your services, but if you desire to receive on a greater level, then you have to serve. This is really important. You have to level up your own level of service. So you're going to have to be a conduit, an even conduit from top to bottom. Whatever you receive, you are expected to and if you want to maintain connection to the giving network, then you're expected to be a participant in it too. You can't just take. You have to also give. So sometimes people particularly the people who have been conditioned by the old paradigm way of thinking, Their idea of service is they either donate to an organization who's going to do it, which is fine, but they don't really know what what skill set do I have. So here's one thing you can do, and I'm asking you to, and this is very inexpensive, very useful, and anybody can do it. You don't need to have any kind of a healing modality. If you're a rank beginner, get yourself some quartz crystals. You can go on eBay. You can go on Etsy's got a ton of them. They don't have to be quartz points. They don't have to be any kind of particular formation. They can be clear tumblestones. The reason we use clear quartz is because, and we also use water. Water is liquid crystal. The same way water holds a program, it holds an intention, it picks up our own energetic signature, and we drink a lot of it while we do the transmutation process. We're going through the alchemical process of transmutation, and we're transmuting all of the old feelings and all of the resentments, all of the ancestral garbage. We're purifying that, and then we're assisting others. Once you get clear, you drink a lot of water and you immediately start to assist others. You don't want to do it to a degree that's going to totally capsize you, but one thing you can do, if water is a liquid crystal, you can also take quartz crystals. Quartz holds programs really well, and by programs, I mean it will hold your intention. So if you get a whole bunch of tumblestones, and they're cheap, and also we are part of the circulation system and the energy of the earth. So for those of you who say, well, we don't want to rob the earth, I'm not saying deplete the earth of all her crystals. We're actually going to be giving it back, but we are a portion, we're a part of the mechanism, but that, and we came here to clean the earth and raise the frequency up. So it's not going to hurt the earth if you use the crystals for the purpose for which they were intended. They were produced for a reason. And some of that is designed to travel, and we are the ones that have the ability to travel. So the mining isn't necessarily all wrong either. I'm not suggesting we deplete entire regions, no. But there's a reason that we're giving these as tools from nature. So we should definitely partake and use them. So you take your crystals, and what you're going to do is, we're still working with equality. So what I would like you to do is clear your crystals in salt water. Just dunk them in salt water, rinse them off. Sometimes we don't use salt water for, like things like selenite or something like that, but just get clear quartz crystals. Use regular table salt, dunk them in salt water, rinse them off, and then they're ready to go. And what you're going to do is you're going to hold two. So everything in Ascension works in pairs. And what you're going to do is you're going to link these crystals. You're going to keep one for yourself, and then you're going to give one back to Gaia. That's the first exercise. The second exercise is to do it again for one of the unawakened people who aren't going to do this themselves, or for somebody that you love we're not going to inflict our beliefs on them. We're not praying that they change. We're allowing them to have their own opinions. But for somebody in the world doesn't have a quartz crystal, but does have a genuine desire to change, or they have a genuine desire to do more, pick up some of their burden or do something for someone else. One of the ways you can increase your level of service, and because you increase your level of service, you're also widening your own bandwidth in terms of how much you can receive as well. So if you're having abundance problems and you're in a belief of lack, and you think, well, I can't afford, you know how people, they tend to go into a lack mentality and they think that they can't afford the things they need for the process. That's not true at all. Start wherever you are. If you're broke and you don't have money, that means you don't need money for that particular thing. Get yourself to the next step from where you are. And if you only have a very little bit of money, then you can buy these things for $1 a piece. Start the process of the energetic rolling forward. Get into the propulsion system of the economy in the future, going forward from this point forward. It's directly tied to ecology, directly. And the propulsion, the thing that moves it forward, is the heartbeat. So you need to become a portion, start taking positive action, and give something away for free. If you have nothing, give something away for free. So so there are those of us in certain groups who do the vast majority of our work. We give everything away for free, and we tend to get a very little bit of money. We're also in the process of equalizing that, but we're approaching it from the other direction. But if you're somebody who currently has, let's say, maybe it's a small stable income, but if it's a stable income, just start. Just start. Get yourself some clear quartz crystals, one in each hand, and you're just going to bless them both. You know, hold them to your heart and have them pick up your own energetic signature for equal and even exchange, benevolent exchange, equal exchange, equal giving and receiving. Figure out, search yourself and say, do I give or receive more? And we're not talking about from, financially only, but be honest with yourself. Am I receiving more or am I giving more? Or is it, to what degree, by how much of a percentage am I slightly off kilter in the center? Or are you directly on point? It takes a little bit of practice to figure that out. But then once you've got one that you're going to keep, and you're going to have one that you're going to give, and then go do it. Go give one to another person or bury it in the earth. Don't cheap out on it. Like, keep yourself honest. Keep yourself honest. Don't cheat yourself either. Make sure that, you can also do this with change. Be inventive. Be playful about it. What do you have that you could sort through and then go give it away? But set an intention that, and actually you can really make every single thing in your life. It's kind of a part of a different lecture, but you can really make every single thing in your life a blessing. As you water the plants, you can say, I'm attending to the drought in Africa. This is for all of those people in Flint, Michigan who don't have clean water. I'm giving clean water to this plant, and I'm watering Flint. Or whatever crops up in your mind. If you do it by duty or obligation, it really doesn't mean shit. You have to genuinely care about the thing that you're attending to. So if you've got, and you don't even have to be broad about it, like if there's really one core issue that really has your genuine concern, I just love this thing so much, I can't live with this. It's on one level, nothing's a problem. But if you're experiencing, if you have love of some sort of a cause, let's say it's cruelty to animals, or it's, there are children who don't have homes, or it's human trafficking, or something that just breaks your heart, use that. Use it. That's really a gift. That degree of that level of caring is a gift. Go apply it to something. It's power. Your emotion is here for a reason. We need you to pick that up. Step it up into a higher level of service. So you can go bury one of these in the ground. You can also go activate a river with it. It's a great thing to do, because the water, you can actually boost you can amplify it. Water is an amplifier of everything. So if you take quartz crystals and you imbue it with something, it's going to hold that. Quartz is, crystals, they hold programs because they're the most structured things. So it's not that your intention is going to, it's going to be it's going to transmit that message that gets picked up by all of the running water. If you bless this thing and then you go throw it, with love, not callousness. Don't toss it into the river like, there, I did that, my job's done. Don't do that. That's cheap. Bless it as though it were a real gift, because it really is. And say, I love you so much. I love you so much. I bless this water. I bless this stone. It is my highest and strongest intention that the energy of my heart go and bless this water so that it is carried throughout the entire earth. And then you put it in the water. That's how we activate rivers. You can also do that. I know I've said this before, but you can do that every single time you pee. It pick your everything that goes through your body. All of that nourishment and all of that water picks up your own personal energetic signature. And as you transmogrify trauma, as you go through the alchemical process of transformation, every single time you pee, flush the toilet with deliberation and say, I now release that energetic signature. I now release all burden. I now release all debt. I now let go. I wouldn't say release. I would say I now let go of all that I was carrying that was not serving me. All ancestral trauma. Find something, whatever it means to you, but let it go. And then that change gets picked up. There's an energetic information. The water system is like a newspaper. So all of that information gets passed all throughout the earth. And all of the information, it's just a way of creating carbonated change. You're really accelerating the level of change and picking up the dynamic nature of it. Accelerating the change. And then you can start to alleviate others of their burden, even if you don't know them necessarily. Somebody has a need for what you have. So make sure that you recognize yourself as a blessing, recognize your own essence, whatever it is, as a blessing. Start to look for things that even when it's a deficit, you can really start to align your mind for benevolence or counteract negativity wherever you find it. So here's one thing. Sometimes you can take a deficit, and I did this a lot. There was a time when I was living all by myself and my kids had been taken away and the apartment was freezing cold. And I was really in a certain amount of anguish. I missed my children. I missed my home. I missed my animals. And I really didn't have anyone to call at that time. But I knew I couldn't stay and wallow in misery. The place was pretty cold. And I thought, well, how can I make this work for me? It's a mental puzzle that I often apply. And I've been in a lot of situations in this lifetime and in past lifetimes when things were freaking dire, really, really, really bad, life-threatening bad. Like nobody's coming, this is as bad as it gets. Find some way. I really did learn that turning a severe disadvantage, find some way to make an advantage out of it. And one thing I did when I was all alone and it was cold and I didn't have anybody to call, I thought back to a time in my life where I was at a theme park in the middle of the day, and it was like in Palm Springs or something, where it's just so bloody hot, and there's a ton of commotion around, and like you're overloaded with children, and you would give just about anything to be in a dark room alone and have it be cold, because it's like 104 degrees. Have you ever had these experiences that are the opposite extreme? And if you can reach the opposite extreme and find a way to merge those experiences, or at least have them pass in the corridor, you can kind of balance out your own situation vibrationally, because that experience was already yours. So if you can access it, you can't experience comfort where you are unless you find a way to reach comfort. And I know that there was a time when it was extremely hot and extremely noisy and extremely bright, and I was overwhelmed, and all I wanted to do was lie down by myself in a dark room and be cool. And I used that experience as a countermeasure. Something like that. You know, you can look at your experience and say, well, someday this is going to make a really good movie or whatever. If it's not a movie, you know, someday I'll tell this story. This is how I survived Auschwitz, and it may help somebody else. There's a purpose toward every single thing. Find a way to get through it. So in terms of, what was the other thing? Regarding stepping up into service. Oh, I was going to do this. This is really important. I was actually going to do this first thing. So yesterday I received a transmission early in the morning, about 6 o'clock. I got a download, and I was told, this is what you have to do. I had intended to start the live stream off on this because they also told me to, but then I got off on a little bit of a tangent. All right. Whoops. Nope. I keep doing that. There we go. Okay. I received a download yesterday morning, and they said, this is what you have to do to equalize the masculine and the feminine. So the masculine is the right side, and it's the side that's active. It's the side that that usually, if anything happens on your right side, it indicates the future. And it's the side that goes forward and takes the action and tends to give. We also know that in the inverted matrix, the masculine has also been the receiver more often than not. And one of the things we're trying to do is equalize it, balance it, because the masculine has tended to be extremely dominant, and we just need to make the adjustment. It's not about accusing the masculine side of being wrong. That's not what we're doing. We're simply making the correction. So we're going to do that now. It's going to be a slightly militant, but also fun. The feminine side is the left. It represents the passive. It represents the stillness. It represents the reception. The receiver, it represents the receiver. So typically, the feminine has been less recognized, has been less fed, because in the matrix, at the way that it has been, the masculine energy has been way dominant and valued way more. So we're just going to reverse that now. We're going to, I was given a, something that comes from my grandmother on my father's side, who came in and said, this is why you learned that rhyme. My grandmother had taught me something. She was, my father's side of the family was Hasidic Jewish. And my grandmother, Rhoda, taught me something when I was 9 or 10, and it's a rhyme that you say. And so she showed up in her astral form 2 days ago at 6 o'clock in the morning, and the word was, "This is why you learned." Okay, now, and the fact that it comes from the Jewish maternal lineage, my father's side, but his mother. And also it has to do with a lot of her recipes too. So I've been on a big Jewish food kick, because I was told, well, you've got to connect with the maternal lineage, which has a lot of not my mother, but my father's mother, we're going to go back to her and make some adjustments. So you need to start eating a lot of the Jewish food that are specifically her recipes. So her kugel recipe and yeah, certain things that she was famous for, or, well, our, family recipes. And link it to food. It has to be linked to the food supply. So first they told me to eat, and when I'd eat a certain amount of kind of connected, so it's a lot of dairy products too, dairy and fat, because I need that frequency. It's not that you need the calories so much, it's more about the energy that it carries. So it's all about linking to the maternal on that side, and also linking to Jewish lineage going back, and we're going to make corrections through space-time, and then it's also going to correct certain cultural distortions related to the Judeo Christian traditions, and like the way women have been treated, the way that the male has been prioritized. We're going to correct it. So she came in and she said, "This is why you learned that rhyme." So then the rhyme is, it's meant, so I'm not going to stand up and do it, but I encourage you to stand up and do it, because the change is going to be more effective if you stand and step. It's meant for, it's one of those things that you say when you're walking. So it's a little bit like a marching song. It is a marching song. I'm not going to march while I say it, but if you're watching this, I encourage you, number one, you could learn it anytime. You could learn it and say it anytime you want to employ it as a magic tool, because, rhymes are spells, and little songs that we sing to children are also spells, and spells aren't necessarily negative. People have this idea that magic is bad. It's just a simple law of the universe. We're using vibration and intention and thoughts that go around in our head to install something into collective consciousness. So if your intention is evil, then you can create something that's negative. But if your intention is benevolent, then it's going to do that too. And what do you think prayer is? You can also write your own prayer. So let's do this first. It's designed to be spoken by, so what you do is if you ever linked arms with someone and then you say something like Laverne and Shirley, when you're walking in step with somebody else, or whether you're walking alone, when you're walking in step, it's designed to link to the portion of the consciousness that needs familiarity, it needs structure. The lowest level of the consciousness likes predictability. It wants to know what's coming. It likes linearity. So it's going to fall into a line and find that comforting. The portion of the collective who are scared to make a change, that's the level that needs our help the most, because they don't use magic. They don't sing a lot. They're scared of change. So we're trying to not inflict our will upon them. We're trying to give them everything they need. So it's interesting that it was my father's very resistant to change. He didn't think he was, but he was. It was his mother and his mother's food that, because he finds that comforting, and so do a lot of the Judeo-Christian religious traditions. They're afraid of losing that structure, so we're going to give them the structure while we keep walking forward. We're going to link arms with them, and we're just going to walk, and we're going to help them walk through it the way you walk with a child who's scared. So I will say it, and then in the middle, I'm telling you what we're going to do for a reason before we do it. In the middle, it has two places where it changes. So you start off walking like this, and then in the middle, it changes, and then it changes again. And then it ends on a question. So I'll say the rhyme and I'll do it twice because everything in the arc moves. We need to repeat it. You'll notice that in Ascension, everything that's repeated twice, we need to install a pattern. Once a 3 is a catalyst for change. I don't think we need to do it 4 times, but I'll do it twice. And then I'm not going to stand up and march because that would put my head out of the frame, but you can stand up and we're just going to start left, left. I left my wife and 48 children alone in the kitchen in starving condition without any gingerbread left, and I did right, right, right to the cornfield we shall go. Yips, I did go left, left. I left my wife and 48 children in starving condition. Do you think it was right? We end on a question because we don't want to tell them what to think. We want to ask them to open their minds and consider it and come to their own conclusion. We hope that they're going to do the right thing. The masculine has tended to be over dominant and take all the stuff and get all the, be competitive, take all the points. And the women and children were largely left in the dirt. And this has happened or had less than, and that was fine. So it's no longer fine. We need to install a correction to the entire system. So I'm asking you to do that with me now. If you want to, I'm going to put this, the live stream on YouTube. And if you want, I'll, on Facebook, I know this is a live stream now, but if you're watching this in the future on YouTube, you can go and find me on Facebook, and my name is Stephanie Arc with a K, Hogarth, Hogarth. And today, I will write that down, and then if you want to memorize it, you can use that anytime you come across a place where men are getting more than women and children, or men have left women and children in the dust. The issue of the future economy, ecology, is directly tied to food supply. Those who have it, those who don't. It's also very much tied to animals. That's a different lecture, but I do have a lot to say. I'm going to say it one more time. I'm going to do the marching, and I would appreciate it if you would do this with me. Left, left. I left my wife and 48 children alone in the kitchen in starving condition without any gingerbread left, and I did right, right, right to the cornfield we shall go. Yips, I did go left, left. I left my wife and 48 children in starving condition. Do you think it was right? It's directly tied to the food supply. And the reason corn is in there, and this came through in a download, is because it's a seed, and it's also something you can eat. It also looks like a phallic symbol. So it's got that going for it. Go do the right thing. Do you think it was right? Do you think it was right? And if you don't think it was right, go make the repair. But when we do this, we're taking full responsibility for, you'll notice that it's a confession. I left my wife and 48 children alone in the kitchen in starving condition without any gingerbread left. It starts off with a confession because you have to look and see what did he actually do? Confess it. We walk them through that, and then we leave it open-ended because we're not going to make their decision for them. It's still their decision. Do you think it was right? So there's that. Breathwork with intention is free. Everyone can do it. Of the earth is it doesn't have the luxuries that you've got. Set your intention to help. Look for ways to do it. There's an avalanche of divine employment out there if you bother. Just look for a way to serve. You're going to receive in direct proportion to that which you give. One of the things we say a lot is, I say this all the time, meet me where I am in flow. Meet me where I am in flow. I want my own abundance to meet me where I am in flow. And if I want more for some reason, let's say I want more, then give me that's why we have large missions. If you want something larger, then step up your game and look for a way to serve. What are you here to do? If you're a twin flame or somebody who came in alone or with another partner, you know what you came to do. So many starseeds, you know exactly what you came to do. Just say, here I am. I'm here. I'm open. I'm willing. Guide me. And then start to walk. Start to take steps. Take any action. Say every day, every moment, what would you have me do? How can I help? What would you have me do? Sometimes, you know, don't take yourself off the cliff with it. Very often there is a group where we have a much harder time receiving than we have giving. And there's my specialty is the large networks and getting the networks to function together. There are reasons that they don't, that they jar. Giving and receiving equally that's required. I'm looking and I just saw 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. The giving and receiving, the act of giving provides the propulsion. That's the heartbeat of the incoming system. That's the heartbeat of the network. So if you want to be a part of the system that's going to live, you had better find some way to start that process or engage in it. You can't just be a receiver. You can be a receiver for the time when you genuinely don't know what to do. But start taking further action. If you know that you're consistently not donating, there's a reason that we need people to tithe more. There tend to be certain people who do that on a regular basis, and then there are people who they really do take more than they give. It's important to trust that there is an equilibrium that's happening, so you may not get, and so don't judge somebody who genuinely who isn't giving you money back if you are receiving it from another source, because very often the good that you do will come back to you from a source that's totally unrelated to the person you help. That happens all the time. So here's the other thing. I say this every day. I keep a jar with Lodestone, a glass jar with Lodestone in it that's dedicated to certain things that I'm manifesting. I was going to say trying to manifest, but it's not about going after something or trying to do it. What I'm doing is building up a tangible evidence of already having it. I make the Lodestone represent something, and then I've got iron shavings, and the Lodestone represents me, and I take the iron filings in 3 different sizes, and I say a prayer. Each one has a different color, and I sprinkle the iron filings on it, and it's a way of linking the tangible world to my prayer and my own intention going forward, and then I'm drawing what I want to myself. And one of the things, I wake up every morning and I go into my prosperity corner and I stand in the window and I say I'm in gratitude. I position myself in a feeling of gratitude first. I say thank you. And then I say, free at last, I have money and it comes fast. I am here to shine my light. Abundance is my natural right. I have everything I need so that I may live and lead. Everything that I am owed, money, love, and open road. Help me serve where I best fit. Thank you, so be it. And then I will say that again, and I will do it imagining myself as the earth or as the starseeds. Put yourself in the position. Mentally, imagine yourself. Your imagination is so incredibly potent. Imagine yourself as the earth. as any group of people. Imagine yourself as if you are a member of a group that carries a strong identity, like Joan of Arc did for France. It's an oppressed country. It's an oppressed populace. Imagine yours, and the country itself has its own strong identity. So you could say, you just make yourself that country. Imagine yourself. It's not even, you don't even imagining it, because it's not actually not true. You just position yourself there. You claim it. And you say, I'm going to do this on behalf of. And then you do it on behalf of France if they're oppressed. Free at last, free at last. I have freedom and it comes fast. I am here to shine my light. Abundance is my natural right. I have everything I need so that I may live and lead. Everything that I am owed, money, love, and open road, help me serve where I best fit. Thank you, so be it. That's a prayer. It's not just a magic spell. Nothing nasty about it. You can write your own. I'm not mad, I'm just emphatic. So we're going to bury the crystals. Where am I? There they are. Clear the crystals in salt water. One's for you. Keep it, love it. It's a being, it has consciousness. And then you bless one. And with all good intentions, you give it back to the mother that you got it from. The Mother Earth gave you the crystal, and then you say, thank you, and you give it back with a blessing. You give it back with your love, and then it holds that program, and you put it right back down to the earth or into the water where it will spread throughout the earth. Set your intention to help and look for ways to do so. Let's see, is this basically it? Seek divine employment. Oh, free energy. I was going to say this. You're going to like this. So I haven't paid my electric bill in about 2 years. And I was scared not to. Because we're conditioned that you have to pay it or else. But I know that one of the things that I'm here to do, one of my jobs, is to walk through the fear and get past the fear. Free energy is a fact. Free energy was electricity. We're talking about energy was given to us. The technology for free energy was given to this planet hundreds of years ago. We've had it. It was being suppressed because people want to claim something that is naturally ours, and they want to put it through a financial network so that somebody can make money off of it. We don't want that anymore, and all you have to do is know for a fact. No, you have to really know it. You have to really know it. You have to know that it's already yours and then claim it. So when I would get, so I didn't feel right getting, paying, and I felt it was morally wrong to pay an electric bill. There are a lot of people who are going to say, well, no, it's responsible to pay your bills. Not if it's morally unjust. If you are given something and somebody takes it from you so that you will go into a slavery system to completely enslave yourself in perpetuity, that's not right. You have to actually stand up to that system and say, no, I won't do it. In fact, I have paid electric bills in the past, which was robbery. So I will take you have to be really, you have to know it to be true. What I said was every time for 2 years, and I got the pink notices. It's so fascinating, right? That they, when they send you a final disconnection notice, they send it to you in a pink envelope. Pink has been, is a color that has been bastardized with black magic for so long, because what they're trying to do is scare you when you see the color pink, because pink is also the color of love. It's the pink of pink is rose quartz, pink is rhodochrosite. It's the pink of the heart chakra, which is also green. And they're trying to get that kind of subconsciously programmed with fear. Same with what they do with breast cancer. Every time you see pink, you're supposed to think of breast cancer. No. So it's the fear of being disconnected. tied to both breaths and electric, you know, losing your power. So let's reverse that. And it does take a certain amount of courage. It took me about 2 years before now I throw it in the garbage casually. But I experienced a certain amount of fear when I stopped paying my electric bill. I never talked to them about it. I never said, I'm not going to pay my electric bill. I put it into the ethers and I said, I refuse because this is already mine. And I know that this is just morally bankrupt and I refuse to do it. I'm claiming my power. I have paid it in the past. I've paid electric bills and I'm actually owed a refund because my stuff was free there too. So I would take, but you know how sometimes in the beginning of a process, sometimes you make a little bit of an overcorrection where if you were really confident, you would just be able to simply be confident and do the thing. But sometimes early on in a process, you're still in a certain amount of resistance, a certain amount of fear, and you try to bust through it or you have to make it a little stronger at the beginning. So I would take my bill and I would get a big black marker and I would write, taking back my power, electricity is free, and I would, you know, kind of make a ceremony of it and like light the bill on fire, throw it in the garbage, you know, stomp on it and make a big ceremony of it. And now I no longer write on it anymore. I can just rip it up and throw it in the garbage where I know for a fact that electricity is free. My electricity is free. And as long as I stay in service, as long as I'm the one who keeps the power on by taking my power and I make it stay on by taking my power, becoming the source, linking to source, and deciding to serve on a regular basis. That was my own election. And as soon as, so that actually goes to the voting system. I may save that for a different day. The only vote that actually matters is your own election, for real, because your own energetic signature is traced directly back to you. The electoral college, like if you're in the United States and the way we vote, you don't actually have to do any of that. It's so corrupt that if you put purity into a corrupt system, you're asking it to do something that is not natural to it. It's, I mean, you can go into corruption with so much purity that it blasts the thing clean. You can do it that way if you want to actually keep the system, but it is going to take longer. It's going to be much harder on you. We can also take a staggered approach. There's a multitude of ways that that you can run the circuitry. There's an algebra to all of it regarding the networks. For those of us who are some of the stronger components or the larger players on the Earth grid system, and by larger players I just mean we're aware that we're hubs or we're running a tremendous amount of current. I'm one. Rick Jewers is one. Bilal's running a lot of current. Ramona Lappin is running a lot of current. There are so many people. We're positioned where we are for that reason. Belinda Spence runs a ton of current. There are a lot of us. Some of the pairs too. Some of the pairs coming online are, you know, we planned this in advance. Sure. Okay. I think I'm going to, is that the last one? Okay, I think that's going to be it for today. Don't forget to put your water by your bed every night, full glass of water, and every night before you go to sleep, ask for your body to be optimized and any needed codes be put into the water. So if you could just say, I choose my body be optimized, and then it would work for you. But if you also ask that your water be optimized, you're going to kind of double down on the correction. Your water is going to pick up the needed codes and the needed frequencies that you need to bring about a balance. And then when you pee, you're going to flush it, and that correction is going to also get transferred to the water system at large. And we really need that to happen more. So that's one way you can accelerate the process. All right, for those of you who are able to make a financial donation, you can reach me on Facebook. My PayPal is on there. My channel on YouTube is The Ascension Arc, and you can see any past lectures. I'm going to start to do, I always think these things they're gradually getting shorter. They're not 4 hours anymore, but this one's not even an hour and a half. I'm doing pretty well. It's gradually getting shorter. If you would like to, I was going to say that. I am going to say that. So for about a year, I was guided to do the vast majority of my work was free. And that's right, I did want to say this. The vast majority of my work was free, but you could book a session for that time. You could book a session for $111 because I needed 3 ones. That time passed, and then I was guided. This wasn't my own idea. This was something that's part of the sequence that we're doing because of the job that I've got. My job is to bring in the lower financial system, get the higher network that does. Some of them don't even use money. Most of nature and animals don't use money, but they still require abundance, and they are our equals too. So we're trying to get these things that are dramatically different. We're trying to get those seamlessly merged also. There are populations who are more amenable to do that. So I'm working a lot with Native Americans, indigenous groups all over the globe. And the woman who booked the session, I was guided to ask for private sessions, which often go anywhere from 3 to 7 hours, and sometimes continue. The follow-up care is there too. It's really a decent. No one's getting robbed. It's a real good bargain, and 222 isn't that much. But I find myself in a little bit of a justification because sometimes we're like, sometimes people are like, well, why would you charge that much money? The vast majority, like 98% of my work is done for free. And I only do 1 paid session a week maximum. And I play it by ear. I basically, it really does go according to energy. But someone booked a session for 222. She has ties to Native American. She booked it, and I was immediately given the direction that her session was going to be broken up into 2 sessions. She was actually getting 2 sessions for the same amount of money. She paid me double, and I automatically turned it over. We're waiting a span of 3 days or so. So she gets the initial session, and then we're waiting a span of time. And then I'm immediately not charging her again. I'm giving her a free session on the back of it because she's giving me the 222. And then I'm immediately giving her a free one because the reason I had to charge the 222, not that there's anything wrong with charging money, but there's a reason that I'm given the numbers at the times that I'm meant to. It's all by divine orchestration, and I pay attention to that. She gave me the 222, which equates to a 6. It's balanced in 3 places. So remember the arteries, the veins, the capillaries, we're rolling it. We're making a lateral rollover where we take it and we immediately give it back. We put it directly back into the network because we're creating a wheel. We're receiving and we're giving. So we're creating this momentum of receiving and giving, receiving and giving. I've done 1 round with her and her group. So now, if you would like to book a session with me, if you feel like you want it's not like I'm dangling bait. If you feel so inspired, take only inspired action. If you feel inspired to work with me and you would like to book a private session for $222, it may be 1 session, it may be 2. I have never had any idea what is going to happen. We never do. But the sessions never end. You're brought into a network, and then we figure out how to best optimize your gifts. That's what happens. Okay. Or you could just step into service, and a lot of my work is free. So you just got an energetic transmission. You can expect your telepathy to start increasing dramatically after this energetic transmission. You can expect your dreams to increase a lot. You can start to dream overlap with other people. You're going to start to pick up the same dreams at the same time and see people that you know in dreams. There's going to be a lot more interaction, and it's not a dream. They're actually there. So that all happens too. All right. I love you all. I'm going to end this here. And that was only great for me. Okay. That was only an hour and a half. So great. An hour and 30 minutes. All right. That's the shortest one I think I've ever done. Great. I love you. I'll talk to you later. Bye.